Andrews come out, and she's over at ESPN, and there's Alexa Philippou talking about the WNBA, WNBA-PA, discussing a moratorium proposal that would apply to an upcoming league business, including free agency qualifying offers and core designations, which were set to begin as early as Sunday. Breanna Stewart said that while a qualifying offers may be going out...
Stop right there. Breanna Stewart, co-owner of a competing basketball league, is now telling WNBA players not to sign contracts. Let that sink in for a second. A player who owns Unrivaled, a league that directly competes with the WNBA, is coordinating what amounts to a work stoppage. Somehow, nobody in the media is calling this the massive conflict of interest that it clearly is. The WNBA just sent out qualifying offers to free agents this past Sunday. Standard procedure, right? Except the players' union immediately called for a moratorium, telling every player in the league to refuse signing anything, and leading that charge is Stewart, who also happens to be a vice president of the players' union, while simultaneously owning a rival professional basketball league.
With the NBA, that just all sounds insane to me. When it comes out of my mouth, every time it comes out of my mouth, that you have players that are vice presidents of the players' union for one league owning a different professional basketball league. It's just baffling. But nonetheless, we found out yesterday, I did a video, the NBA and WNBA, very smart. Very smart. We said, they came out, they said, you know what? We're under a moratorium here. Let's start sending out qualifying offers to...
Here's what the league just did, and it's genuinely brilliant strategy. They ended the negotiation moratorium and started sending qualifying offers under the current collective bargaining agreement. Now, those offers are based on the old salary structure, the one where max contracts top out at $250,000. And nobody expected players to actually sign these offers. That's not the point. The point is psychological warfare, because suddenly every player in the league has to look at a piece of paper with a specific dollar amount on it, and then compare it to the new CBA proposal from the owners, where that same contract would be worth 6 times more. We're talking about players currently making $100,000 who could be making $500,000 in year one of the new deal. That's 5 years of salary sitting on the table, and the union is telling them to walk away from it.
Personal shots. You're bringing up social reform in a collective bargaining agreement. We're seeing your ridiculous inflatable rats and freaking a digital banner on the side of a truck. And it's starting to feel like low-budget AA baseball shit out there by the players' union. It's like, okay, come on. Stop this nonsense. And it feels personal. And it's like they want revenge.
Watch how public opinion has shifted over the past 3 weeks. AT first, everyone was on the player's side. The narrative was simple. Women athletes deserve equal pay. The league is finally making money. Give them their share. That's a compelling story. And it worked for about 10 days. Then the inflatable rats showed up. Then came the digital billboard on the side of a truck driving around Manhattan. Then the players' union started posting things on social media that felt less like labor negotiation and more like personal vendetta. And suddenly, casual fans started asking questions. The biggest question: why are these players acting like the owners have been stealing from them when the league has literally never turned a profit in its 28-year history? That's not speculation or owner propaganda. That's documented fact. The NBA has subsidized the WNBA's losses every single year since 1996, and yet, not one player, not one union representative has publicly acknowledged that reality during these negotiations.
None of them. And it's common knowledge. It's common. I mean, there's sports fans that don't give a rip about the WNBA that knows it's never made a profit. Why? Because it's been a running joke. Forever. And then, of course, it also got a lot of publicity when Brittany Griner got locked up in Russia. Yeah, that was a thing. But nonetheless...
Here's the part that nobody's talking about. Everyone knows the WNBA has never been profitable. Sports fans who don't even watch women's basketball know this. It's been a running joke in sports media for decades. The league only got serious mainstream attention when Brittany Griner was detained in Russia in February 2022, And even then, half the coverage was about why she was playing overseas in the first place. The answer? Because WNBA salaries weren't enough to live on. But now, there's real money on the table. The owners have offered a deal that raises maximum salaries from $250,000 to $1.2 million by the end of the contract. That's a 600% increase for top players. For mid-tier players, we're looking at 8 to 9 times their current salary. This isn't a marginal improvement. This is life-changing money.
Start making them think about money and the increase in money. That's all they've talked about. We want new money. We want more money. Well, more money and a lot more of it's on the table. Right here, I put this up this morning. How long before the WNBA players start chewing their own legs off, trying to get off a sinking ship? You've got a lot of women turning down a lot of money. $2 million by the end of the new CBA is a lot of bread just laying there to be picked up. And that's the whole thing. The money is now officially, because it's been offered from the...
Think about what this means for the average WNBA player. Not Caitlin Clark, not Aya Wilson, not Sabrina Ionescu. We're talking about the 6th through 11th player on the roster. The ones without shoe deals or national endorsements, the ones currently living in $2,500 a month apartments and playing overseas every winter just to make ends meet. Under the new CBA, those players could buy homes. They could have actual financial stability for the first time in their careers. They could stop flying to Turkey, Russia, or Australia every offseason and actually rest their bodies. The difference between the current deal and the offered deal is literally the difference between renting and owning, between financial stress and financial security, and the union is telling them to turn it down, to keep fighting, to wait for something better. But here's the question nobody in the union leadership wants to answer. Better than what? Better than a 600% raise? Better than life-changing money? At what point does this stop being about fair compensation and start being about something else entirely?
That's who we're talking about. And let's be real. What if the league was like, well, we're going forward with replacements and our rookies, which I don't know if that can happen. I know they're currently under contracts. But let's face it, a lot of people have brought this up. Just get replacement players. Think about all the rookies, and they're all star. Like, much of the stardom in this league, almost all of it, is people on rookie contracts. Think about that a minute. I mean, Rickea Jackson, Sonia Centra, Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston. A ton of players. And I understand.
Now, let's talk about the nuclear option sitting on the table. The one the union really doesn't want anyone thinking about. What if the league just moved forward with replacement players and rookies? Think about who drives viewership in the WNBA right now. Caitlin Clark is on a rookie contract. Angel Reese is on a rookie contract. Rickea Jackson, rookie contract. Cameron Brink, before her injury, rookie contract. The entire surge in ratings, attendance, and media coverage this past season was driven almost entirely by first- and second-year players. You could field entire rosters of rookies and recent draft picks, throw in some overseas players or G League talent as replacements, and the ratings would barely move. Caitlin Clark versus Paige Bueckers next season. That's still happening, both on rookie deals. Clark versus Camila Cardosa, rookie deals. The matchups that casual fans actually want to see don't involve a single veteran player making over $200,000.
Not going to look much different at all. I'd be willing to bet they would look no different. Oh, I'm tuning in for Caitlin Clark versus Paige Beckers. I'm tuning in for Caitlin Clark versus Sonia Centron. That's still all on the table. Angel Reese is out. You get my point I'm trying to make. It's the veteran players that are the long-term back-end veteran players that are screwing this all up.
Here's what makes this situation so precarious for the union. The veteran players, the ones who've been in the league for 8, 10, 12 years. They're the ones pushing hardest for this work stoppage. They're the ones who feel like they've been underpaid for years, and they're not wrong about that. But they're also not the reason anyone's watching anymore. The league doesn't need Breanna Stewart to draw viewers. They need Caitlin Clark. They don't need Diana Taurasi. They need Angel Reese and Paige Buchers. The entire power dynamic has shifted in the past 12 months, and the veteran players haven't adjusted their strategy to match that new reality. That's why the league sending out those qualifying offers was such a smart move, because now every player has to make an individual calculation. Do I stand in solidarity with veterans who are fighting for principles I agree with? Or do I sign a contract that would immediately transform my financial life?
Wow, this was such a smart move. I mean, the league's not dumb. They know these players are not going to sign those qualifying offers, but it gets the players to thinking about their money. Their money and where they want to go. And I've seen people go, oh, well, there might be a 3-week off season and it'll be exciting. Really? I mean, the way this league's run, you need all the time you can get. Again, how many times have I talked about how Bush League some of these telecasts look? And I'm tuning into some Atlanta Dream game, and it's like, am I watching single A rookie baseball with the quality of this broadcast? And just there's all kinds of things this league needs as much time to get together and do professionally as possible. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Let's zoom out and look at what's really happening here. The WNBA owners have put a historic offer on the table: 600% salary increases for top players, massive improvements for mid-tier players, better travel conditions, better facilities, better everything. It's not perfect, but it's substantial. And the players' union has responded by escalating tactics instead of negotiating details. They want to talk about social reform initiatives and a collective bargaining agreement. They want to relitigate decades of perceived disrespect. They want the owners to apologize for not investing more in years when the league was losing tens of millions of dollars annually. These might be valid feelings, but they're not negotiating positions. You can't bargain for retroactive respect, the inflatable rats, the protest trucks, the coordinated social media campaigns. All of that plays well to the most engaged fans, those already on the players' side, but it's alienating everyone else. Casual viewers see players turning down life-changing money and asking for more, and they start to wonder what this is really about. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The owners can wait this out longer than the players can. The NBA doesn't need the WNBA to be profitable. They've subsidized it for almost 3 decades as a loss leader, as a way to expand their brand and demonstrate commitment to women's sports. If the season gets delayed or canceled, the NBA writes it off as another year of losses and moves on. But the players, they lose a year of their already short careers. They lose a year of salary. They lose momentum at a moment when the league finally has mainstream attention. Breanna Stewart telling players not to sign anything might feel like solidarity, but it's easy for her. She's got unrivaled money coming in. She's got endorsement deals. She's got financial security that 90% of WNBA players will never have. The 6th player on the bench in Dallas doesn't have any of that. And when she looks at a qualifying offer that could change her life, then sees union leadership telling her to refuse it, she has to be wondering whose interests are really being served here. The league knows this. That's why they sent the offers out now. They're betting that individual self-interest will eventually override collective solidarity. They're betting that when players see real money with their name on it, the abstract principles of the labor dispute will start to feel less important than the concrete reality of financial security. And here's the thing, they're probably right, because at the end of the day, professional sports is a business. Players have short careers and limited earning windows. The ones without major endorsement deals can't afford to sacrifice a year of prime earning potential for a negotiating position that might not even improve the final offer. The union strategy only works if every player stays unified, but unity is easy to maintain when you're fighting against obvious injustice. It's much harder to maintain when you're fighting against an offer that would make most players wealthier than they ever imagined being. The owners know that. The union knows that. And now, with those qualifying offers sitting in players' inboxes, everyone is about to find out just how solid that unity really is. So the question becomes, how long before the first player breaks rank? How long before someone decides that $500,000 in hand is worth more than solidarity with veterans fighting battles from a different era? Because once that dam breaks, once one player signs, the whole strategy collapses. The WNBA and its owners just made a very calculated move. They've shifted the conversation from abstract principles about respect and value to concrete numbers on official contract offers they've made. This personal and immediate for every player in the league. They've put the union in a position where they're now asking players to turn down transformative money for reasons that are getting harder and harder to articulate. That's not labor negotiation. That's psychological warfare. And based on how this is playing out in public opinion, the league might